Let's get out to Brent Tate, who is on ground. Tatey, what did you think of the game? How did you see it?
Yeah, mate, well, it was a wonderful, high-quality game. I thought the Storm were there to be beat tonight, but the Cowboys, again, their Achilles heel all year is when they're up against the good sides and they shift gear and lift the intensity, the Cowboys just don't have that second gear to go with them. So, look, it was a brave performance from the Cowboys. They've got plenty of injuries and lots of guys out with Origin as well, but the Storm, you know, they're just a classy outfit. They're a well-oiled machine, and they got the job done up here tonight.
Hey, Tatey, it's Cooper. Looking good. Love your work on Fox League, mate. Talk about the Cowboys. You see them most weeks. Their good form is really good, but their inconsistency lets them down. Where do you think they're at, and where do you think they finish up the back end of this year?
Yeah, it's been a funny one, Coops. You know, one week they're brilliant, the next week they're really poor. There's just no, you're right, there's no consistency in their game at the moment. It's probably been like that the last couple of years. So, look, they're in a really precarious position on the ladder right now, especially after a loss tonight. We know the competition's jammed up so tight down there. You know, each week you've got to get that 2 points. So, you know, I think if they were to make the 8, that'd be a really good result for them this year. But you know, there's still a few things they'll need to turn around really quickly and get some more consistency in their performances.
And what's the word in Townsville? Obviously, news broke today of Reed Mahoney. He'll go then next year with Robson going to the Roosters. What's the talk around at the moment?
Yeah, look, I think he's a really good signing for the club. You know, one thing he is, Reed Mahoney, he's a competitor. You know, he's good defensively and he's got impeccable service out of dummy half. So, look, you know, they needed a hooker. There was a bit of pressure to sign one. Time was ticking. So, you know, I know they're very happy with the signing of Reed Mahoney up here next year. And I think his competitiveness will really help drive some consistency with this Cowboys side moving forward.
Tatey, before I let you go, I have to ask you about Origin. Are you confident about Wednesday night?
I'm as confident as I've been out of the 3 games. So I think big Josh Papali'i being back, I think that's a master stroke from Billy. I love the inclusion of Gamet. So, mate, go Queensland. I can't wait.
Have you worked, Tatey?
Go the Blues.
Yeah,
Thank you, Tatey. Like Coops, I think you're doing a great job on Fox League and you look amazing, buddy, all right? Keep it up.
Thanks, boys.
There he is, the great man, Brent Tate. What a legend he is. He's doing great things for us at Fox League. He was happy with the Reed Mahoney, and that is a big signing for the Cowboys.
To his point, the thing I took about that is once Reece Robson decided to leave, they had to fill that hole. Yeah. They've probably got some talent coming through, but the way that the Cowboys are at the moment, they need their talent playing their best football. They've got some Origin players, and they should not be in the position they are because they've been chasing that, was it 2023 form? 2022 form, just trying to get back to that level, and they need to replace the like-for-like replacements, and that's as close as you get.
What do you think about the Cowboys, Mel? You think they can make the finals?
Tough draw, Braith. I think they can if they win every game, but I don't think they've got the capabilities to win every game, defensively in particular. You know, they're leaking points every game, basically. So I just feel that they got... I mean, you look at the Storm, they've got the Dogs, the Dolphins, the Sharks, you know, they've got the Broncos, and they finish up with a bye. So the games they need to win, they should, and then they need to get away with a couple of strong wins against the top of the table teams. And I don't quite think they got the defensive fortitude to do that.
Yeah, I don't do as much prep work as Mel because I don't know what their run home is.
Well, no, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's hard.
We've noticed you don't do it.
Yeah, I don't do a lot. But just off their performances, like they're too inconsistent. Like when you try and play finals, you've got to compete in the moment. You've got to do all the basics really well. And Todd Payten must be super frustrated because their best football is top 8. But their worst football is just, game against the Roosters the other week. They just blow out the score lines and just don't defend for a long period of time. That was actually a pretty good performance for their footy club tonight. No Origin players, and they held their gloves up against the Melbourne Storm, but fell short. So, yeah, I don't think they make the finals either, but anything can happen when you win 4 games in a row in a good month of footy. Yeah,
they were close tonight, Coops, but not close enough. And let's recap the game and have a look at the Harvey Norman full-time highlights. And it was a close one, and it went right down to the wire.
Yeah, it was the first half. It was 12-all, and Melbourne Storm dominated all the possession, all the stats, and probably should have come away with more points than they did. Aerial threat of Eli Cartel scored the first, and when the Cowboys got the ball, it was Drinkwater that set them all up. And both teams were competing, both teams decent completion rate, but the Melbourne Storm, probably should have had a lead at half-time, and Craig Bellamy would have been happy with the way his troops were going. But when Drinkwater scored that try in the second half, Mel, Purdue did this just before the half-time break, but then Drinkwater scored the first and the second half, got them to 18-12, and that's when Melbourne Storm hit the accelerator.
Yeah, we're thinking, well, hang on a sec. You know, we're thinking that the Storm's going to kick on after all the possession and territory the Storm had in the first half. But it was a fantastic try to set up, the second half at the 51st minute. But then sort of after that, I think, the Storm just dictated play. Some great ball play, some great running by Reed Mahoney, scoring that try. Then across the other side of the field, Sean Bloor coming into his element, going through the line. Great pass, and then great pass Reed Mahoney to go for his second, his double in the game.
That's the match winner right there. It was 18-all at that stage, and they came through. Try celebration to boot as well, and that ended up being the moment that got the Melbourne Storm the victory.
Ali Katoa, he's playing great at the moment, has done for the past couple of years since moving to the Melbourne Storm, but his aerial ability, I think he's the best under the high ball back rower in the competition, Renault, and he did it again tonight. And this was from last week, so he just continues to deliver.
Yeah, well, it's obviously something that they practice a lot down there in Melbourne. When you've got him going up for balls on that right-hand side of the field for them, and then you've got Xavier Coates on the left. Geez, as a half-back and kicker, you want those threats. And, look, their kickers put on the money 9 times out of 10, and when you've got guys competing like that, you're going to score plenty of tries.
Obviously, there's a skill set to it, but then there's also a desire to want to be involved. That one there, he's a right edge back row. He's come into the middle of the field to compete, knowing that if he gets one-on-one with Drinkwater, he's going to back himself to do it. So not only does he have good line-running ability, he's got great offload, he plays long minutes and good defensively. Now he's just added this arsenal, being able to catch a kick off the back of what Jerome Hughes does. He's a complete back rower. Dalian back row of the rear last year, and it looks like he might go back-to-back because he is playing lights out at the moment.